Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to an episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Monday morning, December 21st, on a short week with Christmas coming up this week, and wanted to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all my friends and my family. Also want to wish my sister a happy birthday today. Pam, happy birthday. So today we obviously have some massive news my camera's kind of off here. We have some massive news in both directions today. The stimulus package that we were looking for last week, we literally said that the market needs a new stimulus, literally and figuratively. We got it over the weekend. However, there's that opposing force and the entire reason we needed the stimulus package in the first place, which is the pandemic now apparently has a new worse strain in the UK. They said it spread 70% faster, which now shifts us into the mode where we are looking at stocks that were strong prior to what we're getting right now, this big gap lower on the open this morning. And by the way, if you watch the futures, make sure that you shift it over to the December futures contract. But now we're also going to shift back into what we were looking at prior to some of this good news, especially prior to the vaccine news about 6 to 7 weeks ago. We're going to start to look back at stay-at-home stocks again, which is the Zooms, the Pelotons, the Wayfair. We're actually going to lead today's video off with Amazon. Amazon hit a big level that I was watching for a while now, and I haven't gotten involved. A lot of people are asking me about Amazon, Apple, Facebook, all of those kind of bigger tech stocks, the popular names, and I haven't traded them. However, Amazon is now on my radar. Amazon finally popped up to that level. Again, if you watch today's tape reading video, you need a line in the sand. You need a level that matters to you. You need a level that says, that's the price I'm watching. And if that happens, that becomes significant. And now I'm going to start to keep an eye on that stock, or maybe even trade it. Now, remember, tape reading is different from having an edge. Tape reading just means closer to or further away from a significant reference point, a significant price. Normally that's your open price, but we're going to take a look at the price that I'm looking at in Amazon today. So let's take a look. We're going to head on over to the charts and first start out with Amazon. We'll give you the level that I've been watching, which is right here. 3250 is the level. So if you have a charting platform and you jump in there, you want to set an alert. We're going to set that alert for 3250. Now, after 3250, if 3250 gets triggered again today, which is not really that unrealistic despite the way the market's opening lower right now, we're looking for a minimum of 3,500 as the first initial profit target. What I think we need to start out with is give everybody a sense of where we are right now. If you happen to not have caught the news over the weekend, here is the news. The best part of the news is Congress reaches final agreement on pandemic relief. They finally got out of their way and announced and got on the same page about what we're looking at. Great news, right? That's actually what we're looking for. But then we have this other headline this week about stocks tumbling because of this new COVID-19 strain. Now, from what I've read, and again, I've no idea about any of this stuff in detail. However, every place I did read said that it spreads faster, which is really bad news, about as bad news as you could possibly get. So let's see if the vaccine has some positive news about this. However, from our trading perspective, we have massively dueling forces right now of really good news that was expected to catapult the market into new, fresh, all-time highs and carry us with that stimulus package versus the horrific pandemic news. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to be watching and focusing on stocks that were strong prior to that, and specifically focusing on some pandemic stocks. So we've been calling them for a while. We've been calling them the stay-at-home stocks, and you can see the Peloton's actually opening lower, but not much lower. That's actually okay with all things considered. This is obviously a stock that will benefit. So looking at a break of 140, be clear, a break of 140, a break above 140 for Peloton. Wayfair, again, very similar. What's interesting about Wayfair is we had a good week last week, but not at or near the same breakout levels as Peloton. You can see 300 and then 340 are the next two levels. So if I had a choice between the two, it would be it would be Peloton. Zoom is another one. Zoom has actually been getting beat up pretty good. And you can see it's actually up $16. So this really validates our idea or thesis going into the day that we should be shifting back into these stay-at-home stocks. So we'd be looking for follow through in Zoom today. So we have Peloton, Wayfair, and Zoom. Follow today's video on reading the tape to keep you in some good ideas there as well. So we're going to shift a little bit and go into some stocks that have been very strong relative to the market selling off, and they'll be looking for the market to find support in these stocks. Now, you're going to have to be timing your entries after the market opens today, maybe even tomorrow morning, depending on how everything closes today, if you're looking for a little bit longer term swing trades. So I'm going to give you a list right now. FUBO was one of our bigger swing trade winners last week. We called it out earlier here at the optimal entry, and you can see the nice $14 rally, $12 rally, depending on where your entry is. So FUBO TV will be one that we'll be looking to bid on a lower opening today as well. CrowdStrike was another one, really good, clean, bullish gap. So again, optimal entry over here, got a really good punch through 200. You can see it's not really that low compared to what the market's doing. The percentage is really what we're looking for right now. The dollar amount can be deceiving depending on the dollar price of the stock. So what we're looking for is either a positive pre-market, such as we're seeing in Zoom, or a very small bearish gap to the downside, and obviously CrowdStrike is one of those. JMIA is another one. Now this one is not necessarily at the top of the list. Last week we were watching this at $40. However, you do need a reference point. That was the whole point in today's tape reading. So you need to set an alert at $40. Now we're going to open up slightly above $40, but I would expect we're actually going to open up and punch through that. So after the market opens, you need to have that set. APPS, again, another one that actually had a really good clean move for us last week. I think we called this one out on Wednesday of last week. And we were clear, it wasn't a day trade. This was a swing trade. It was a longer term position. We finally got the punch through 42.50 and a really good solid move. Now, this is also a good lesson here in trading parabolic moves. At what point does the trade hit a target where you're looking to get out? We had a bullish U-turn here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 well-bid candlesticks after that bullish U-turn. Now, it's easy to say after the fact, but not really, because this is what we cover every single day in the boot camp, is when to book your profits. So APPS will be something to look at on a pullback as well today. TG Therapeutics will be another one. You can see 32 was the big level that we finally had to punch through. We actually had an optimal entry on last Thursday to initiate a new swing trade right here. So we had a really good push and a pause, a push and a pause. This was the optimal entry. You can see that we have it triggered there, and not set to open up much lower, depending on where it is in a little bit. Next, we have Stone Company, which actually, again, traded into a bullish U-turn here into consecutive days of closing above the open. And look at that. That's what you want to be scanning for pre-market. So again, not just stocks that are positive, but stocks that have a positive thesis and were strong prior to this. Tesla obviously is going to be in the list today because of the inclusion in the S&P 500. It's actually down now, but let's see how it trades. Let's see if the S&P 500 news was priced in. I actually mentioned last week I thought it was. It's going to need a fresh catalyst to hold. So let's see if today's lower opening is with the entire market or if it's stock specific, meaning sell the news now that it's going into the S&P 500 today. Next, we have Plug. Plug has been one that's been plugging along, and I think that we started watching it right over here on this pullback. So we had a push, a pause, a push, a pause, and looking for some follow through here. This is one of the stocks that actually looks better on the weekly chart. And finally, we're going to be taking a look at Blink Recharging. This is one that's also been pretty good. 28 was the level that we've been watching. I didn't like the way that it closed off the highs on Friday, but as long as it's above 28, which looks like going to be plenty above 28, we can look for a new entry here. So again, I just want to recap the ones that you should have been focused today for trading this week specifically, and maybe the next couple of weeks, depending on how that new strain news plays out, which is Peloton, Wayfair, and Zoom. Obviously, some of the get out of the house stuff is really going to get hit today. The cruise lines, the airlines, and that kind of stuff. So really just want to get clear on this is a short week. It's going to be a volatile week, which means you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. Do you want to initiate new positions in these dueling catalysts right now, one positive, one negative, and both really strong on both sides? Or do you want to take a step back, let the dust settle, and then wait for a little bit more what we call order flow to make the story obvious? So you have those lines in the sand for reading the tape today. Do you want to place a short-term trade on this bullish gap down? I know I will be. It's just a question of which price it will be, and starting out with those stocks that are stronger. So let's have a great week. It's a short week. Let's be smart this week. Let's trade like a pro. And if you have any questions, and especially if you like these videos, please subscribe. Let me know. Have a great day, everyone.